I didn't wear bras.
Like, bitch, what's happening?
It's because I didn't want to just grab them and push them around.
Oh. Welcome back to Mama's House. I'm Yo-Yo, the Diet Queen.
And I am a Nikki FUEGO, the dysfunctional queen.
And this is episode 6, where we're talking about fashion, baby.
Fashion, darling. Fashion.
Okay. Yes, you have to give us your Edna mode impression.
What is it? Who do you want? What do you want? My God, you've gotten fat. Come in, darling. Come in.
Oh, it's so good. I gag every time. Miss Edna mode. Can I wear a cape?
No capes.
Work, bitch. Work.
Not since 1972.
By the way, everybody, Nikki FUEGO is so good with voice impressions. It is like fantastic. So in this episode, we're talking about fashion, and not just high fashion, but our personal style, our drag style. And then we'll close off the episode by picking one queen from season 14 of RuPaul's Drag Race whose style we like really enjoy or aspire to be or like the aesthetic.
I guess I could start with my personal style. My personal style right now is ever evolving because I've just recently, like this last year, figured out how to find my silhouette and what my silhouette looks like. And so now that I know what it looks like, now it's just really trying to find pieces that I can scrap together and make informed mine. But as far as style, I would say it's still very I would say street, but like grunge street, because I'm patching things together that I'm not having been made and stuff like that. So it's very crafty, if you will.
This is for your personal style?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you've been putting things together for
very little by little. Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Cool.
Yes.
I haven't seen any of these things yet.
Trying to. It's because they're not presentable or wearable.
Oh, okay. I see.
So I'd say it's very ever evolving.
Okay, so but before you started patching things together, what was your personal style like?
A middle school trapped in a 30-year-old's body. So like graphic tees, shorts, basketball shorts, very cis male.
Okay. I see that. I can feel that.
Yeah. And I'm literally in basketball shorts below the waist. So
hey,
right now,
shit, they can only see above the waist, so that's all that matters. Okay,
but that style's still here.
I do have a couple of questions for you.
Yeah.
So you said you figured out your silhouette. So
yes.
From doing drag, did your silhouette and drag help you with your personal style now?
Yes, because what I found out that I like in the male figure and that what I want my figure to look like is like that. I call it the male hourglass, where it's like that swimmer's body, where it's like you have the shoulders, but it kind of like comes in a little bit like a triangle. I love that. And that's the kind of shape that I want. So I've been able to try to find ways to tailor shirts that bring in that sides of the waist, because I've seen like people, different brands of men have shirts that like that, but they're like $60 for a t-shirt.
Right.
So I'm just trying to make my own stuff to like bring in my waist, because that's where all of my weight is in my waist. Like that's literally where it all goes. So being able to try to hide that, but also show off the rest of it without hiding the rest of it, it's challenging. And I also realized I want to get a butt, and I may need to do surgery for that.
I mean, girl, start with squats.
I have been squatting for 2 years and seen nothing. It's literally just a flat brick.
Okay, I'm about to say, girl, you need to come over to my family's for some soul food. You need collard greens, cornbread.
Okay. I'm coming out next month, bitch.
Yes. So that's really cool, actually. I like that a lot, that figuring out your silhouette in drag has helped you figure out your silhouette out of drag.
Yeah.
And like, here's one trick for that, like inner waist, by color blocking. So sometimes adding a black on the inside gives the illusion that it's pulled in a little bit more.
Okay.
So there's just a little thing now.
That is a good tip. Okay.
I've seen them do them with like women's dresses, like those really tight ones. They'll have like a lot of geometric shapes, and on the side it's black to make their waist look like it's more pulled in and the dress is more
interesting.
Like,
okay.
So
I fuck with that. Hell yeah.
All right. Well, I'm here for the evolution of your style. I can't wait to see.
It's coming, girl.
Yeah, I can't wait to see. So for me, my personal style, it used to be just kind of like anything. I mean, it still is. If I like it, I'll wear it.
You can rock really anything you want to rock. It's insane.
I don't know where that came from. I just like what I like at the end of the day. I am definitely a hoodie person, but I realize I like short sleeve hoodies more than I do long sleeve hoodies. That's like my favorite thing. So
Yep.
if I ever come out with merch, it definitely will be like probably a short sleeve hoodie
Absolutely.
with like designs or anything like that.
Hell yeah.
But what I will say, from doing drag, it has really opened up my eyes to what is possible, like as far as expressing yourself through clothing as well.
Yes.
And I'm ready to like really just push the envelope and wear anything and everything that I like, whether it's women's, male, little kid, whatever the fuck it is. If I can fit it and I like it, I'm going to try it on. So I think over this next year, my style is going to evolve drastically.
How long do you think you've been in the evolution of like changing your style, or have you always been like a change it up person?
I have clothes in my closet from 5 years ago that I still wear. So
Wow,
I don't change it up really. Like every now and then I'll buy a new piece.
Sure.
But I'm really good at knowing, like, if I have 13 pairs of pants and I have 13 shirts and jacket, like, you know what I mean? I can put them all together in different ways. So it looks like I have like a ton of clothes.
Yep. I was gonna say, in Montana, every single day you were in something different and it was a different style, but it worked. Like I was like, oh my God, who comes on vacation and looks this good every fucking day? I don't get it. I'm literally over there in basketball shorts and a t-shirt.
When we went to what was it? What was the national park? I can't think of the name. Yellowstone.
Oh, Yellowstone.
Yeah, when we went to Yellowstone National Park, that was actually one of my favorite outfits of that trip. It was like the tourist glasses with the Hawaiian shirt.
yes. That and the day that you wore the punk rock stuff.
Yeah.
That was such a good fit. I loved that.
And I actually wore makeup that day.
Yeah, you did too. Yep.
I went for a little more intense, like smoldery eye type thing.
Was that on 4th of July or?
Yeah, that was 4th of July.
Okay.
Because we went to that event outside where the singers and all that stuff. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So for me, I think my personal style is going to get really bold. It's going to get really loud this year because I am tired of like sitting back and like not being shown. So I'm going to start being me. I don't care anymore. Like
and that's totally translating.
Yeah.
Totally.
I'm going to wear like pinks and patterns and maybe a skirt or a kilt or like really long flowy things. Like I'm just going to do it. Like that's it. I'm going to do it.
Amen. And you could pull it off too, because you have a good awareness of your body. Like you're aware of your body. Whereas like I'm still not super aware of my body.
It took me a while to get there too.
Yep.
And I mean, we both have like incredible weight loss journeys.
Yeah.
So it's really about just loving yourself. That is it right there.
100%.
You have to work on your self-confidence, your self-care, your self-love. Yep. And once you get to that point, it no longer, like when you put a shirt on, it's not like, oh, this looks weird right here. Like you're not looking at it from a judgmental standpoint. You're looking at it like, do I like this shirt?
Yep. How do I want to look, and how do I look to myself?
Exactly.
Queer Eye's really good about showing that kind of stuff and talking about that stuff. I love it.
Yeah, I love Karamo because he's always like the heartfelt, like, let me help you out. Let me
fix your life.
Okay. That's our personal styles. I mean, they're forever evolving, like just like our drag styles will be forever evolving. But I think I'm just ready to just step outside the box and not step out the box just to be different, to be me.
Right. To find yourself. Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what I was telling somebody the other day. I said something about like, I'm just stepping out of my box, and they're like, oh wow, that's so trendy of you. And I was like, not in that way. Like I'm stepping out of my way to find my way.
Exactly. Like to find me, I have to do something different.
Yep.
It's Mama's house. You all right?
So now that we know a little bit about each other's personal style, let's go over our drag style. Now, YoYo, you're still fairly new to this, right?
Yes, very new.
Let's talk about your journey, because it has been amazing to watch you go from little baby drag queen to now this fully realized character and persona. It's amazing. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, really, it was me asking you a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And it was just because I didn't know where to start. I knew I was supposed to buy like women's clothing, and that's another thing. I don't have to buy women's clothing, but I thought in my head I needed to buy women's clothing. And then of course, after watching like Drag Race, I was like, my drag outfits have to look like cornbreads. Right. Like,
for real.
And that was very intimidating at first.
Yep.
But then after talking to you, and we did that call and response, and if you guys haven't seen it, check out our TikTok or our YouTube shorts. But we did that call and response, and you were just like, buy a morph suit or buy a bodysuit, and then just like a plain color, or you can get a pattern color, whatever you want. Put it on, look at your body. And then what do you want to add to that? Do you need jewelry? Do you need padding? Do you need this? If you want to glue something onto it. And then you sent me TikToks too of like different performance drag queens. And that's what really clicked in my head. You sent me that performance drag queen, and I was like, oh, so I can literally do whatever the fuck I want.
Literally whatever.
like there's no rules. Like there's literally no rules at all.
Nope.
I bought myself a bodysuit. I bought some padding. I bought a little bit of like effects and stuff. And I'm still not at the like the level that I want to be, because like I'm going to be like quirky and like kind of weird, a little bit dark, but a little bit futuristic kind of thing. But I'm able to feel comfortable in my skin. Like we dripping a little bit today. We're giving
you are looking so good.
A little business realness.
Jewelry. You out blinging me today.
Okay, and you are the bling queen. For
right.
real. Girl. If y'all think y'all got more gems than nigga,
you ain't seen my drag or my jewelry closet. Okay. Not my drag closet, but my jewelry closet. Yes, there's two separate things.
So all in all, I went from Kaftans because that was easily accessible. I was literally in Burlington Coat Factory and they were $10 a kaftan, so I bought 2. And then put on a wig, did my makeup, and I was like, okay, I'm feeling the vibe. But then after taking Nikki's advice, bitch, y'all can't tell me shit.
Right. She got that body now, girl. Yeah, and it looks so good. Like you've evolved like so quickly too. Like it was like that call and response was like I could see a catalyst for you, because since then it's like obviously the last 2-3 years that I've known you, you've been evolving, but really like the last like 2 or 3 months has been huge development with your drag. And it's so cool to watch it come to fruition. The first time I saw you in the blue face, I was like, this is so future drag. Like you're so ahead of the time. It's not even funny. Like I'm jealous.
Thank you.
But yeah, I'm so proud of you. It looks so good.
I mean, it's what our core values in Mama's House are.
Yep.
It's we're not in competition with each other. We both have our own goals, our own aspirations, and then we also have combined goals. And like there's different things like Waterline, which is another call and response that you guys can check out. I know a little bit. I've been doing makeup a lot longer than Nikki has, but Nikki's been doing drag a lot longer than I have. So it's kind of like
each other. Yeah,
and we just share information, we share our talents, and we support each other, and that's what helps us get through this.
We also celebrate each other's individuality too. Like,
amen.
Not everything that we do together. Like we all have we have our things we do together, but we each have our individual stuff that we're pursuing too that has nothing to do with each other, and that we're still just as supportive and just as reliant on each other for. So
I love that.
All about building that community, girl.
Yes, it is. Brick by brick.
Brick by brick. We be fucking it up.
Okay. Yes. Come on.
Just dropping that there a little bit.
I know. I would say, I see what you did. I see what you're doing. So you've designed your own outfits and made them yourself.
Yep.
And then you've also designed outfits and then had a designer make them.
Yep.
So this is going to be a 2-part question. Let's start with just give us a little bit about like the process behind designing your outfits, getting a sewing machine, and like putting that together.
Yeah. So similar to my out of drag style, a lot of it started with just crafting things together because like I mentioned last week's episode, we were talking about the drag queens. As a plus size queen, it's almost twice as hard to put together a costume yourself because you oftentimes have to buy 2 or 3 times as much fabric, 2 or 3 times as much as threading. And usually that stuff is pretty bulky and heavy. So you have to buy more expensive needles and stuff like that, or sometimes even more expensive machines.
Right.
And so I knew getting into drag that it was going to be expensive. So I tried to go the cheapest route possible. And funny enough, I went to Mac to do that, which I don't know why I chose to go to Mac to do that.
Yeah, I would say maybe you should have went to the drugstore.
Yeah, didn't know what I was doing. So that's the most I spent in my mistakes with drag is going to Mac. But over time, I've gotten a little bit more confident just seeing other plus size representations on the show and stuff like that, and giving me that confidence to explore. But it's literally been 2-3 years of like hot glue and shit, hand stitch and stuff, throwing it in the sewing machine for a seam, but that's about it.
Yeah, I remember your hot glue phase.
Everything was hot glue.
Hanny, everything.
Bags of sticks.
Okay. When I tell y'all that Nikki went through a hot glue phase, bitch, everything was hot glued. It looked good though. I'm not gonna lie. But I mean, it was hot glue.
For 2 minutes if I wore it. And then after 2 minutes, it all started melting and falling apart.
When you did your performance, you just threw the glove.
Creating something, like drawing it down and then making it come to life, I think is the most rewarding part about drag, because it's taking that idea and that thought that's in here that doesn't feel real and making it actually real. And it's kind of validating those thoughts and all that stuff that you don't really get validated all the time. And especially like, again, being a plus size person, I've always had a problem with fashion, always, both in and out of drag, male, female, always had problems. And I think that's a general problem in plus size industry in general.
Agreed.
I know I'm not the only one that struggles with that. But because of that, it's stunted my even confidence of even trying to do some of this stuff. So, and having people like you to encourage me to keep doing this stuff, even through the hot glue phase.
Yes.
Because then I went from hot glue phase to 3D printing with the hot glue, and it was a whole fucking mess.
Yeah, it was 3D hot glue, bitch.
But we're gonna bring it back, but more strategic this time.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a lot of it was just going outside of my comfort zone, picking up things, stitching them together. I still have one costume that I've been over a year making, and it's the Eat Ass Get Cash one, the red or with the denim and the red flames.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's still being a work in progress because its shit falls apart every time I put it on.
I didn't know that you were still working on that. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I've dragged that place to 3 places now. So I'm still in that trying to figure out exactly, because I've now gotten to the point where I know that bodysuits are good for me because I can use my paddings to get that silhouette that I want, that very big butt, because I have a big top and not a big bottom. So I have to get, my ass is 74 inches round, by the way. That shit on. So that's how much proportionizing I had to do. But now that I know that silhouette and stuff, it's a little bit easier to make the bodysuits. The problem is figuring out what to do with the bodysuits, because it can't just be a bodysuit. It can't just be a leotard like we were talking last week. Exactly. It has to be something that's dynamic. So that's where I'm at right now.
I mean, you're doing a great job. You made that denim outfit, which was like, you made that from scratch, and that's where you learned all about all those like needles, like needing heavier needles and like all the other stuff.
That and my DragCon outfit when we first met each other for the first time.
Oh yeah, the DragCon.
That little torrid dress that I sewed a few things onto.
Yeah, and then you
had designing.
I mean, it was a design, bitch.
Yeah,
we all start somewhere.
It was a collab with Torrid.
See, that was like giving yourself a little bit permission to step outside the comfort box, but that was the spark.
Yep. That was the catalyst, because I got that validation from the community too at the convention. So being able to get that validation and take it back home, I was like, okay, girl, let's go.
And I went to the convention more so as a drag king. If you
you really did.
Oh my God, that was a really big body confidence moment too, because I was so terrified to have my shirt, like my chest open.
Yeah, and you looked fierce as fuck, bitch.
It was so good. I had glitter all down, baby.
Yep, and he got complimented all day.
It was so nice. Okay, and now tell me a little bit about designing, because you started drawing and you started like drawing looks. I remember. All right, let me put the story. So you went on a trip. You were on a plane at some point, right? Mm-hmm. And then once you got off the plane or you got to your layover, I get like 4 text messages, and I look at the text message, and this bitch designed 4 fully realized outfits. And I was like, wait, what? And then he gets back on the plane, okay? Because after his layover is done, lands, and then I get like 3 more text messages, and it was 3 more designs that he made. So he took some of those designs and actually had them created by a designer. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So once I started like figuring out, okay, I can actually make things, then my artistic side took over and my too much gene turned on, as Jenna Marble calls it. And I just started going to town on creating things. And then the things that we're creating were far outside of my capabilities of seamstressing it together and putting it together. Right. So I was like, I'm like at a point now where I really want to take this drag serious. We started making those albums, and I was like, if I'm going to play the game, and if I'm going to put myself out there, I want to put myself out there, and I want to respect the art, and I want to respect the industry. Right. So I don't want to go out there looking bootlegged. You know what I mean? I want to look good. And so the only way to guarantee that is if I outsourced. And so, and I really don't like, I didn't used to like collaborating art wise with people, because I take my art very personal. And whenever I put it out there, I know that I'm opening up myself up for critiques or criticism. And I'm not really good at criticism when it comes to my art, just because it's very personal to me. Yeah. And so even taking the step to hire somebody to bring my vision to life was a risk, but the universe knew what it was doing, because absolutely. Out of the clear blue randomness off of Upwork, which is just a random freelancing site, I found the seamstress, and all of her artwork or all of her portfolio was really good. And I was like, okay, she knows how to make for show queens and people who actually perform and stuff like that. And so one thing led to another. We just got to talking and stuff, and she told me that she was a seamstress for Britney Spears. And I was like, people say that all the time, like they worked for this, that, and the other. They didn't really. No, bitch. She literally toured with Britney for 11 years, like was on the tour of that biggest tour that Britney did in her life. She was on that tour dressing her every single time. So it's like, okay, you're hired. Like, absolutely, you're hired.
Right.
And then not only did she like bring all of that expertise with her when she designed, or when she helped bring my design. She didn't even really change up my design at all. She added like a checkered pattern to it that brought it back all equalized, but most of the design was mine. And she took it and she brought it to life, but she also incorporated pieces from Britney's past costumes into mine. So she used rhinestones from Britney. She used rhinestones from Alicia Keys.
Yeah.
She used feathers from Britney Spears. All these things. And like, it's not just like her saying this. Like, she literally, I went to her studio and met her a few months after she made the first costume, and I saw all of it. Like, I saw all the costumes. I literally got to touch Britney Spears costumes and see that it's in my costumes now. And I'm like, all this just from stepping outside my comfort zone and just asking
Right.
somebody to help me. You know what I mean? Just putting myself out there. And now she's made 2 costumes for me and completely elevated my drag to a whole other level.
I agree.
Now I'm just in that point where I'm like, okay, where do I want to go next with this? Because it's expensive to get that custom made. I mean,
Right.
Just being completely transparent, the Monarch was like $1,200, and I want to put that number out there because I don't think people talk about those numbers enough. And
I agree. Yeah.
And somebody who's listening to this is new and wants to do that, you just need to be prepared to spend a lot of money because it's worth it. I know that's a high price tag, especially for just getting into it.
Right.
You don't need to spend that just getting into it. But if you're at a point where you really want to take it to the next level, I promise you it's worth it if you find the right person. Just don't be afraid to ask for what you want, because if you're going to be paying that much money, you better get what you want.
Oh, you better ask for what you want.
Right. And that's another thing. She's been great with that. Like, she's done alterations twice now and stuff. So she's came to visit me. I've came to visit her, and it's 4 hours apart. So like, doing that for free is really beneficial. So just find somebody that is willing to align with your path and your vision, and it'll work out. No matter what the price tag is, it'll work itself out. Universe will work it out. It'll be good.
I love that. I love how the universe rewarded you for stepping outside of your comfort zone.
Yep.
Because like I know how personal like your art is to you, and how it's been a journey, and you're getting a lot better at sharing your art with other people before it's even ready, because that's growth.
Yep.
So like it's such a beautiful moment for you to reach out to this designer against how you're actually feeling, and then get like such crazy results. And I could see your Monarch outfit like as like on RuPaul's Drag Race. Like, it's that good.
Absolutely.
It is literally that good, because it's fully realized from the head to the toe. Okay.
Yep.
Everything.
And that's what I love about that collaboration is I had a whole sketch and everything, but her and I, after the first one of her just doing exactly what I wanted, and I saw how great she was, I was like, okay, this next one she's going to help me with the design. And baby, she pulled out that cloak with the sparkles on it. Like, I didn't have that drawn up, and adding that little touch makes it look so like ethereal and elevated. And just the little details, even with the wig, like things I didn't ask for that she did. And I'm just like, dude, this is totally the universe, because I sure as hell didn't do this.
Okay. Yeah, the cape was a great addition, because think about performing, it gives you something to play with. You could take that cape off, you could throw it across the stage, you could wrap it around somebody. Like, you can do so many things about take somebody's child and fucking coddle, if you wanted to.
Wrap them up.
Right, wrap them up, throw them like a football.
Put them in a manger.
Put them in a manger. I'm good. Oh my God. So overall, would you say your experience with just like the whole fashion side of drag and like finding your style has been more pleasant than it's been frustrating, I would say?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think the most frustrating part came from wanting to create such fabulous looks and not being capable, because I don't have the years of experience to be able to throw something together like that, because I am not a patient person at all. If I feel like I can learn something quicker than paying somebody to do it, I will.
Right.
And which has worked out for me. But when it comes to seamstressing, that's just not something you can fast forward on. Like, that just it's a time art. It's not a quick art.
Yeah.
And so being able to learn that and appreciate that has helped it become more rewarding, because you're putting in love and care, and just because it takes long doesn't mean it's not going to be beautiful. You know what I mean? And just because it doesn't happen right now doesn't mean that you won't ever get it in the future or whatever. So and learning that and telling my baby self that to just calm down and wait has been really rewarding. So definitely worth it.
Yeah, I love that.
Just step out, just do it.
Yeah, just and like, don't be so judgmental.
Yeah, don't take it so serious. Drag is not
don't.
Serious.
But I mean,
I'm in a fucking wig.
Okay. Just in general, like, just don't take it so serious. Like, have fun, step outside the box. Like, everything doesn't have to always be so polished if you don't want it to be. Like
Yeah.
everything doesn't have to be so perfect if you don't want it to be, but just try different things. Like right now, my whole thing is hand-me-downs and thrift store.
Yeah.
And
Amen. Clearance.
exactly. And the more hand-me-downs and thrift store things I get, I can start saying like, oh, this would look really cool with this, but now I need to cut this fabric off and add it to this. And then eventually it just comes. But give yourself grace, give yourself time. One thing that we live by in Mama's house is divine timing.
Absolutely.
Everything
Don't rush
happens the way it's supposed to, when it's supposed to. Just don't rush it. Enjoy the journey.
Yeah. If you try and rush it, it's going to derail every time.
Amen. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back to close out the show by picking our season 14 RuPaul's Drag Race queen that we most resonate with their style. What song are they going to play, Nikki?
Let's talk about eat ass, get cash, bitch. You got to do some things in life you don't want to do sometimes to get some cash, and sometimes it's eating ass, okay?
All right. EAGC.
You give me reason.
EAGC, you're giving me feelings.
Eat ass, get cash, yeah.
Go get that cash.
Ooh, welcome back. I am Nikki FUEGO, and this is a YoYo. We're going to talk about RuPaul's Drag Race Season 14 queen that we want to aspire, or that aligns most with our drag. We're going to talk about two of them because it's hard to pick one.
It is very hard to pick one.
So why don't you go ahead and start us, because I'm really curious to hear which one you're. I think I already know a few, but I want to know who your number one is.
It's so okay. So there's a lot of alternative queens this season.
Yes.
I would say there's quite a few of them. So it's so hard for me to choose just one.
I that's why I wanted to know you first, because I knew you're gonna struggle. They're all so good.
It's so crazy because I think everybody would assume that I would pick Maddie as my drag style, but I like Maddie's whole look for Maddie.
Yes,
but that's not quite me. If anybody's style, I think my number one would be Willow Pill. And just because I really like that pattern, I probably wouldn't wear it like a skirt like her. I would like change it up and make it a little bit different, more spacey kind of vibes to it. So my number one would definitely be Willow Pill. I just love that dark, alternative, weird, quirky.
Yep.
Yeah. That. And then my number two would be Diabetti.
Yes, I knew it. I knew it.
My number two would be Diabetti, because I even like Diabetti's Meet the Queens look, like when she was walking the runway, the large claws and all that. I loved it. And then
very eccentric,
her reveal. So my number one would definitely be Willow Pill, and then my number two would be Diabetti.
Absolutely. Okay, come on. I knew it was gonna be Diabetti. As soon as I saw her, I was like, that is so YoYo.
Exactly. Like we would just change up the color palette, you know?
Yep. And even if you had your blue skin in that, you would look so fucking fierce.
Yes. I just don't want to be that bright.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
bright.
Yeah. I'm kind of muted with pops of color. That's like my thing. Yeah. What about you?
So my number one, just because I'm obsessed with her and because of the way that she contoured her body, is Cornbread.
Yeah.
So I aspire to be that technical with my drag and to look that polished, because again, plus size queens aren't known for polish. So I aspire to be that polish. However, I feel like a lot of my drawings and a lot of my inspiration come from a style like Deja Sky.
Okay. Yeah.
Where it's very like fantasy. You know what I mean? Like very I don't know what to say it like.
Yeah, it definitely is like illustration. It's a little campy, but it's
campy.
Like
That's exactly what it is. Camp.
Okay,
camp.
There you go.
And the way that she contours her body with the lines of that bodysuit too. Like I wish that I had the patience and time to learn that.
You do have the patience and time.
I just don't dedicate it.
Right, there we go.
I wish I could dedicate it.
Those were the two people that I thought you were gonna pick as well. I definitely knew Cornbread was in there. And then Deja Sky, like I already see a lot of like the things that she does. I already see those in you, like the design, like the drawing, coming up with your own costumes. It's just going to be a matter of time until you're building your own costumes like that. So
and I would say this is the first season where I have actually had queens who align with my style. Like even having plus size queens on the shows before, they haven't really aligned with anything that I've done. Eureka was the first one that I saw some styles and I was like, she's the one that got me into drag. And I was like, oh my God, like I could do that. But again, she has her own styling.
All right. Well, that's it for episode 6, bitch.
Yes. Come on with the fashion.
All right. Yeah.
I love
fashion
educating this.
case.
And if you guys have any questions related to fashion, or if you have any comments about some of the stuff we talked about today, or even just let us know what your type of style is, both in and out of drag. If you do drag, you could do it on Twitter. You could text us, email us, hit us up, girl. We want to know.
Or if you have any tips,
Yes.
give us those tips
Yeah,
too.
I'll take all the tips.
Okay. Oh, I just got it.
Also, I wanted to put out there that Mama's House has been working on some very, very futuristic shit, girl.
Yes.
I'm over here melting Yo-Yo's mind every day.
For real, girl.
Melting my own mind too. Fuck.
I've been in different realities and universes this past couple of months.
we all up in the metaverse, girl, and
Yes.
we are putting things into action that's gonna gag y'all, and we got some NFTs coming, so be on the lookout because our OpenSea is about to be open, girl. Okay.
Nikki has been blowing my mind with this whole crypto metaverse NFT space, so keep your eyes open because there's some good big shit coming. All right,
And y'all gonna get some rewards because we got some real value coming from Mama's House. Okay.
Amen.
It's Mama's house. You alright?
All right, everybody. Well, that's episode 6 of Mama's House, where we talked about fashion. I'm Yo-Yo, the diet queen.
And I am Nikki Fuego, the dysfunction queen.
Dysfunctional as fuck, bitch. But I love it, and I live for it.
This was all hot glued, bitch. If this isn't fucking dysfunction, I don't know what is.
Hey, but it worked, and I didn't know until you told me. So be sure to follow us on our socials, download the podcast, and we'll see you next time on What, Bitch?
Mama's House.
Oh, you was all in your mouth, girl.
Had a hair. There was a hair in there tickling my throat.
I've been trying to look at the camera for the intro and outro, so I wasn't looking at the screen. Okay, well, the show's going off. Bye.
Bye.